Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a 12-team mock draft from the 6th overall position. Now, this is a bit of a special video. We are doing a 2-quarterback mock draft / SuperFlex. Now, the subscriber that asked me to do this, JT Davis, said it's a 2-quarterback league, but it's pretty much the same strategy when playing in 2-quarterback or SuperFlex. Obviously, in 2-quarterback, you need 2 quarterbacks every single week, and in SuperFlex, I guess you could have just 1 quarterback in, but pretty much every single week in either one, you want 2 QBs in there. So the quarterbacks are going to go fast and they're going to go hard in the motherfucking paint off of our draft board. So this is a 12-team mock draft from the 6th overall selection, but I said this was half PPR. He didn't tell me if it was PPR, half PPR, or whatever. So we're just going to go with half PPR since that's what most people play, but that does not really too much affect your picking unless it's standard. And the roster positions are 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, flex, kicker, defense, and 6 bench spots. So if you guys could actually help me out real quick before I get in the video and go, on Apple Podcasts, if you have an Apple phone, and type in Notorious Fantasy Football on the Apple Podcast app and click that follow button and then leave a 5-star review and leave a comment down there, and I'll make sure to read it on my next video. It would really mean a lot to me. So let's get right into this video. Like I said, a 12-team mock draft, 2-quarterback edition. Let's get right into it. So the first pick of the draft, 100%, I haven't even seen it, is probably Christian McCaffrey, and it is. Run CMC was the first overall pick of the draft, followed by Mr. Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dalvin Cook. So where we are right here, most people are just going to draft Lamar Jackson right here, and that would not really surprise me. That's something that I may do, but I typically try to avoid going a quarterback early in the first round. Most of the time, you may see some guy like Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes get picked at the 103, and that would not surprise me, or the 104. But I'm going to go ahead and get a running back that I feel super confident in, and then draft quarterbacks later. Now, I'm going to make more videos throughout the offseason of different strategies for SuperFlex. There'll probably be a video where I go quarterback super early, I completely punt the position on quarterback, and I do a more mild take on it, which is normally what I end up doing in these real drafts. So I'm going to go with my favorite running back still available, and that is Alvin Kamara. Now, I know most people may be off of the Alvin Kamara train because last season he did not play too hot. Sure, the reason why to me is he was a bit banged up, and so was Drew Brees in some of these games. 14 total games, 171 attempts, 797 yards, 81 receptions, 533 receiving yards, and 6 total touchdowns. He had 18 and 14 touchdowns the last couple of seasons. Even if he doesn't get close to 18 or 14, if he gets 10, show what? That is going to be much better than last season. He had 81 receptions in each of his first 3 fucking seasons. This man is a ball hog. He is going to play better next season. I love Alvin Kamara, especially in a half PPR or PPR format, and that's why I would pick here at the 106. So after Alvin Kamara came off the board from us, Lamar Jackson followed by Pat Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, Nicky Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins, Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams, and Deshaun Watson. So notice how 3 quarterbacks have already been taken off the board in the first 2 rounds. Notably, the team right after me, we are at the 106. At the 107, went with Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. Now, you guys in your leagues may be seeing strategies like this. This could be a good strategy if neither of these guys end up getting hurt, and they'd be phenomenal like we assume they will be. But his running backs and wide receivers will be lacking. You need to start 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. Even though this makes the quarterback value much more when you have to start 2, it still doesn't necessarily mean that you should pick 2 in the first round. So we are here going to pick a wide receiver. We're going to go with a much more balanced approach here, and then in the 3rd and 4th round, we're likely going to attack the quarterback position. So right here, I'm going to draft my favorite wide receiver that's still available, and that's Chris Godwin. Now, him and Mike Thomas to me, or not Mike Thomas, Mike Evans are back-to-back. I think I slightly might like Mike Evans more, but if Jameis Winston is back, it's going to be Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, going to be both amazing, probably top 5 guys every single week. I think I'm going to go with Mike Evans because I like him slightly more, but you can't go wrong with either him or Chris Godwin. I could see some debate in the comments about how Mike Evans is slightly better. Sure, he'll probably finish as 5, and maybe Godwin finishes as 4. Who really gives a fuck at the end of the day? I think Mike Evans and him are going to be back-to-back, and I think that is splitting hairs, so I'm going to go with Mike Evans here, a guy that, to me, is slightly safer, but in other people's heads, Chris Godwin might be safer, but this pick all depends with next week when free agency happens, if Tom Brady is the quarterback, or if it's Jameis Winston, or if some other guy. If it's Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin are going to be amazing. If it's Tom Brady, temper your expectations. If anyone else, temper your expectations, because what type of fucking quarterback is going to heave the ball, yelling fucking Kobe, and throw it to the other team, your team, the ref, anyone? Because he does not give a fuck. He throws the ball to everyone, so I like Mike Evans here at the 207. So we're going to select Mike Evans here. So after we went with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin came off the board. followed by Mr. Josh Jacobs, Russell Wilson, Miles Sanders, Leonard Fournette, George Kittle, Melvin Gordon, Kyler Murray, Travis Kelce, Dak Prescott. So in a lot of these leagues, you're actually going to be seeing tight end value be at an all-time zero. I would not touch a tight end in the first couple of rounds. I normally don't either, but I'm saying in a SuperFlex type of league or two-quarterback league, I would not touch the tight end position at all. It makes them far more meaningless. So to me, I just would not touch them. Due to the fact that you need two quarterbacks now, it just lowers the amount you need a tight end. So the value in the the third round may be good in a normal draft, but in this type of a league, I would not stand for it. So right here at our pick at the 3-6, I would personally go right here. If Jameis Winston's back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I go Jameis Winston, get the Jameis Winston and Mr. Mike Evans stack, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So we're going to go with Josh Allen here. To me, they are very close in my rankings. I personally would rather have Jameis Winston, but I think Josh Allen is still going to be good as well. Josh Allen performed very well last season, even though many people did not believe he would be that good. 16 total games played, 3,000 passing yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 9 INTs, 510 rush yards, and 9 rushing touchdowns. The rushing totals is what makes a quarterback great in fantasy football. It just is. If you're in a 4-point per passing touchdown league, the guys who rush the ball are far better because they get an extra 2 points from running the ball into the end zone. That's why some people still believe Lamar Jackson is better than Pat Mahomes in fantasy, and it may kind of be true, but I'm going to go with Josh Allen here reluctantly because I would rather go with famous Jameis Winston, but I just don't necessarily trust he'll be back there. But if he comes back to us in the second round or in the next round, we're going to fucking pick him. So after we went with Josh Allen, Amari Cooper came off the board, followed by Calvin Ridley, Kenny Galladay, Chris Carson, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Mark Andrews, Todd Gurley, Cooper Kupp, Zach Ertz, Le'Veon Bell, Odell Beckham Jr. So you guys have to understand that in these drafts, you're going to be finding value much later at the running back and wide receiver position. Typically, a guy like DJ Moore, you might see go in the second round in some leagues, but no, since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total quarterbacks have went, that value springs its way back. Odell Beckham in the 4th round may be taken a bit earlier in some other leagues as well. Guy like Mark Andrews fell into the 4th round, but like I said, we're not drafting tight ends, and Jameis fell to us. Now, if Jameis is not on the Buccaneers or on the Chargers. If he's on the Chargers, he's still going to be amazing as well. But if he's not one of those teams, if he's on the Colts, I may worry a bit. But if he signs back with Tampa Bay, like I personally believe, this is the locked and loaded 407 here. We've got a solid 2-quarterback pairing here with famous Jameis Winston and Josh Allen. So after we went with Jameis Winston, Mark Ingram came off the board, followed by Devin Singletary, Keenan Allen, Juju Smith-Schuster, JT, Jonathan Taylor, Carson, Garbage-Ass Wentz, Aaron Rodgers, Kerryon Johnson, Matt Ryan, Cortland Sutton. So, guys to talk about here, Carson Wentz to me is very overrated. I do not trust the guy. I know he had a great season last season with a bunch of bums at the wide receiver position, but will they address the wide receivers in the draft? You would hope so. But I just don't trust Carson Wentz, not because of his performance. I think he's actually a solid player, but the problem with Carson Wentz for me is the fact that I just don't trust the injury proneness. This motherfucker gets hurt at literally, he's a walking blue tent. He's one of those guys that's always in the injury tent, so I do not trust him at all. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot off of him and draft someone completely different there. So right here at our pick, we are going to probably be attacking the running back position and then attack the wide receiver position next because we only have one running back and one wide receiver. And running backs are very important in these type of leagues because it's still going to be super hard to find a running back on the waiver wire that you can win with. A wide receiver that you can win with is easy to find off the waiver wire, so I'd rather attack the running back position. And to me, there's a glaring number one guy. There are a couple guys available still here, though. Kenyon Drake, Marlon Mack, James Conner, Philip Lindsay, to name a few. But Kenyon Drake, to me, is just the upper echelon of a guy that is still available in the 5th round. Now, to me, the thing with Kenyon Drake is I am a bit worried. If David Johnson's back and if Kenyon Drake is back, I am a bit worried. But I think Kenyon Drake will be the workhorse in 2020. And you saw in the back half of the season, this man was on a roll. He was punching in touchdowns like it was his job, because it is his job. Cliff Kingsbury's offense is very, very good for a guy like Kenyon Drake. And I think that Kenyon Drake will continue to perform on a team that likely has a better O-line in 2020, likely has a quarterback that ups from his rookie season. So I love Kenyon Drake here at the 506. After we drafted Kenyon Drake, Marlon Mack came off the board, followed by Mr. James Conner, Cameron Newton, Matt Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, Drew Brees, A.J. Brown, David Montgomery, Tyler Lockett, DJ Chark, Stephon Diggs, and Devontae Parker. So as of right now, 15 quarterbacks have already been taken through 6 rounds. So guys are going to be punching in on these quarterbacks early. People are going to be dipping and diving their way in to get a quarterback. And in a 2-quarterback league, guess what? You need a third one. And right now, we don't know their bye weeks, but you need to make sure you look at the fucking bye weeks when you're picking these guys, because you may be screwed one week if you end up having just one quarterback to play that week. So we're going to attack the wide receiver position here, since we only have one more wide receiver to go. So we're going to draft a wide receiver, and that is going to be Robert Woods here. There's another couple guys available, Adam Thielen, DK Metcalf, and T.Y. Hilton, but Mr. Robert Woods found his stroke late in the season and was performing quite well. Now, his first half of the season was garbage. His first 3/4 of the season was garbage, but back towards the end of the season, he was catching balls every single game. It's like he got like 30,000 catches towards the end of the season, so I really do like him in 2020. I think he bounces back, and the Rams bounce back as well as a team. They had a very down 2019. I think they go back up there. Sean McVay is still a good coach. I know the news cycle is not on him anymore, but he is still very good to me. I like Robert Woods here at the 607. So after with Robert Woods, Adam Thielen came out the board, followed by Mr. Julian Edelman, Austin Hooper, Darren Waller, DK Metcalf, Michael Thomas, or Michael Gallup, Christian Kirk, T.Y. Hilton, John Brown, Kirk Cousins. If you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. It would really mean a lot to me. So a lot of quarterbacks have came off the board, but I think that we're going to wait a bit to draft our third quarterback here. So we're just going to attack the running back position. We already have all of our starters. We need a flex, and we need some bench players. And I'm just going to go ahead and draft a running back that I believe has some chances to succeed in 2020, and that's Kareem Hunt. Now, I know he is behind Mr. Nick Chubb. He's not going to be getting a lot of rushing opportunity, but he's going to be a very safe flex type of a play for me. He's going to be catching a lot of balls out of the backfield. That Stefanski offense loves to pass the ball to the running backs. It loves to run the goddamn rock, and I think that Kareem Hunt is going to perform in 2020 as long as he could stay on the field. Not from injuries, but for some other dumb shit that he ends up always fucking around with. Stay off the weed, Kareem Hunt. So after Kareem Hunt makes that, or after we selected Kareem Hunt, Philip Lindsay came out the board, followed by Baker the Faker Mayfield, Terry McLaurin, Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, Raheem Mostert, Jared Goff, Big Ben Roethlisberger, TB12, Daniel Jones, Debo Samuel, and Jarvis Landry. So here's where we're probably going to have to draft our next quarterback, because there is just no, well, actually, I think I'd rather just wait and get some value later. So we will just pick one more player and then get our our third quarterback. So we're going to go ahead and attack my favorite player late here in drafts, and that's just Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd has been a certified beast the last two seasons, and the two seasons tell pretty much the same tale the last two seasons. Over 100 targets, over 1,000 yards, over 5 touchdowns. That's all I need to hear right there. He did it with A.J. Green. He did it without A.J. Green. Will A.J. Green be back in 2020? Who really knows? The only people who know is the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he'll be back. My friends believe he'll be traded. If you want to hear us talk about that, watch my wide receiver video from a few days ago talking about free agency. But I like Tyler Boyd whether or not A.J. Green is back. So after on Tyler Boyd, his teammate, who may not be his teammate anymore, A.J. Green came at the board, followed by Jimmy Guap, Devontae Freeman, Sam Darnold, Sammy Mano, Mitch Kissin-Teddy Trubisky, C.D. Lamb, Curtis Samuel, Darius Geis, Robbie Anderson, and Carlos Hyde. Now here, I think, we're just going to have to do it. We're going to have to draft a guy that I really like. I'm a Dolphins fan, I know, but I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. This man down the stretch was putting up quarterback one numbers. This guy could have won you your fantasy football championship. And I know typically in his second season on a team, he decreases his hotness level. He's typically on fire the first season, and then he goes down. But even if he's not on fire, as my quarterback 3, I do not hate it. He plays multiple games against guys like the Bills, the Jets, the Patriots, where it's typically higher scoring type of games. So I love Ryan Fitzmagic here in 2020 as a very safe quarterback 3. So after we went with Ryan Fitzmagic, Hollywood Brown came out the board, followed by Damian Williams, James White, Marvin Jones, Jordan Howard, Ronald Jones, Phillip Rivers. Can you really draft him ahead of a guy like Gardner Minshew when you're not even sure if he's going to be playing? I don't know. I mean, we will know next week where Phillip Rivers lands likely. So, Sony Michel, Gardner Minshew, Dwayne Hash Can, the Trash Can, Will Fuller, and Mike Williams. So, with my next pick here, with my next trick, I'm going to probably be going running back here. Now, David Johnson, to me, I'm not picking him unless he moves off the team. Tariq Cohen, I'm worried about. Royce Freeman, I don't know if he's going to be on the fucking Denver Broncos. So it's kind of splitting hairs down here late in these type of drafts. So we're going to go ahead and draft one of these rookie running backs. Now, none of these guys, DeAndre Swift, Dobbins, they're not going to be available here. So we're going to go with Cameron Akers here late in the draft. Now, Dobbins or Swift are going to go in the first 5 rounds. Same thing with Jonathan Taylor. So there's no shot they're back here in the draft. So we're going to draft Cam Akers, a guy who's going to be a sleeper because he's likely not going to be a guy that is drafted into a slot where he becomes the running back one instantly. He's going to have to make his moves to get into that running back slot, and we love that there. He's going to have some nice value, and if he can emerge a couple of weeks into the season and be the starter, he's a surefire fantasy football championship winner late in your fantasy football draft. So after we went with Mr. Cameron Akers, Sterling Shepard came up the board, followed by the New England Patriots defense. Boo! Boo that man. Do not pick a defense in the first 10 rounds. That is very stupid. After the Patriots went David Johnson, San Francisco 49ers, Drew Horsecock Lock, Justin Jefferson, Derek Carr, Tariq Cohen, Andy Dalton, Emmanuel Sanders. So don't pick a defense before the last 2 rounds. That should be obvious to you guys, okay? Just don't do it. The value is not there. It is not anywhere near worth it. So now we are here in the 11th round, and I'm actually going to throw yet another dart at the board. So we have three quarterbacks in Josh Allen, Ryan Fitzmagic, and Jameis Winston. We have Alvin Kamara, Kenyon Drake, and Kareem Hunt at the running back position, and Cam Akers. And our wide receivers are Mike Evans, Robert Woods, and Tyler Boyd. So I think I'll throw out another pick at a running back, and then we're going to attack the wide receiver position. So we're going to draft yet another rookie. I know this may be a bit of a rookie maneuver, a bit of a risky maneuver, but I'm going to go ahead and buy into it and draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, he is not a very good pass-catching back, he's a good pass-catching back. He's not a very good pass-blocking back, so that does kind of worry me, but I like his value late in drafts. I think pairing him and Cam Akers, given they go to a good team, where they have the potential later, I think they could make sense and be boom guys in 2020. So I'm going to select Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or CEH, as many people are calling him. So after I went with CEH, Alshon Jeffrey came at the board, followed by Brandon Cooks, Preston Williams, Jamison Crowder, Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Don't do that. Latavius Murray, Royce Freeman, Jacoby Brissett, Tevin Coleman, Alexander Madison, Duke Johnson, and Anthony Miller. So here we're going to draft some wide receivers, and we're just going to hammer on some guys that I think could have some value late here in drafts. The first guy I actually want to go with here is Darius Slayton. Now, they may draft the wide receiver, but right now I like Slayton's value as a down-the-field stretcher kind of guy, a guy you throw in as your flex. You pray to the fantasy football lords that he hits, and if he does, he will pay dividends for your fantasy football team. He went sicko mode a couple of games last season. I think he has that potential to get yet again next season, especially with a guy like Sterling Shepard around him, who is injury-prone as fuck. Same thing with Evan Ingram. I like Darius Slayton as a late-round type of a guy who you can throw in as your flex. So after we went with Darius Slayton, Matt Breida came to the board, followed by Deshaun Jackson, Teddy Bridgewater, Jerry Jeudy, J.K. Dobbins, me, Cole Hardman, DeAndre Swift, Deontay Johnson, Tony Pollard, and Jared Cook. Dobbins and Swift are not falling to the 12th and 13th round. Fantasy Pros needs to figure out their fucking ADP. So at the 13th round here, we have a solid team so far. So now we need a tight end. We have completely punted the tight end position. I think it's going to be perfectly fine because the tight end position, the value is there all draft long, as long as you know who to draft later. And you can just, in every league, take a different tight end and throw him at the wall. So likely later in the offseason, I will have a more established guy that I like late in drafts. But a guy like Higbee, Fant, Goddard, Hawkinson, Gesicki, all have huge value. I think out of these guys, I like Higbee and Fant the most, so I'm going to go with Higbee. But I could see any of those guys really blowing up and being a potential guy that finishes at a top 5 tight end. So I'm going to draft Tyler Higbee here. And then after we drafted Tyler Higbee, a bit of a tight end run came off the board, followed by Noah Fant, Ian Thomas, Tyrod Taylor, Cole Beasley, Jamal Williams, Golden Tate, Big Dick, Nick Foles, Marquise Mariota, Justin Jackson, Justice Hill, Rashad Penny, Adrian Pierce. Where does Marcus Mariota go? Check out my most recent video. Where do I think he's going to go? I used to think he was going to go to the XFL. XFL ain't happening anymore because that shit got canceled because of the coronavirus. Fuck the coronavirus. We don't like the coronavirus. But now we are going to draft a running back. I think we're fine with just 3 quarterbacks. So we're going to go ahead. Some people might go for a 4th. I am not sure if I'm that crazy. And we're going to attack a running back that I like late in drafts, and that's Darrell Henderson. Now, I know this may be a dumb move. You could actually go ahead and handcuff Kenyon Drake with Chase Edmonds, which is something I might do. But here I want to attack Darrell Henderson because I don't believe Todd Gurley will finish next season if they let him go full out. They kind of edged him in and let him play not so much at the beginning of the season. I think if they roll him out there and hammer him out there for 16 games, his ass is going to get hurt. And I think Darrell Henderson steps forward, and plays great. So after we went with Darrell Henderson, Boston Scott came off the board, followed by the Bus Edwards, Dallas Goedert, Lamar Miller, Chase Edmonds, Ravens defense, Perryman, Bills, Dede Westbrook, Chicago Bears. So we're going to go ahead and draft a kicker and then draft our defense. So for kickers, you're going to watch a video later in the season on how to draft a kicker. I'm going to post that. You just draft the best one available. Bucker's a god. And then we wait. There's probably going to be no actual players. Will Dissly was picked. Don't pick Will Dissly now that Greg is there. So how you're going to pick a defense is very, very simple. I'm going to tell you how to do it right now. So once the NFL schedule comes out, and later in the season, later in the offseason, I'm going to make a video. But for right now, for your own purposes, you got to type in NFL schedule week 1, find a defense playing a shitty offense, and you draft that defense. So for right now, we're going to draft the LA Superchargers. So our final roster is Josh Allen, Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, Kenyon Drake, Mike Evans, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, Kareem Hunt, LA Superchargers, Harrison Butker, Tyler, Boyd, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darius Slayton, and Darrell Henderson. So thank you guys all for watching this video. We got a B, but that don't really matter. The final roster is here. I'll scroll down here as I'm talking if you guys want to pause and look at the whole draft board. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below and on the screen right now. It would really mean a lot to me. Click on one of these videos above me, to my right, or to the top left. Make sure you click on that. It would really mean a lot to me. I love each and every single one of you guys. Make sure to have a blessed rest of your day. Goodbye.